Hello everyone. I still do not have an intro, so you're just gonna have to do with hello everyone for now, which is probably the most basic greeting you have ever heard. Anyway, today's video, I would like to discuss school, and I would also like to discuss the fact that I am a relatively good student, and having that wonderful commodity, I would like to share some advice with you on the way in which I approach schoolwork, and hopefully it will be useful to some of you in some way. The first observation which I observe, great wording, is that people often stay up the whole night to finish an assignment. You know, the lame thing is that we actually got a whole big window of time to work on that project. We got a whole year, and almost every lesson we would spend at least half an hour to work on that thing. But my other classmates, they were just talking to each other. By the way, if you want to get good at school, probably don't have friends because they are incredibly distracting. Or at least have smart friends who actually want to study. My next point is that to be a good student, one essential quality that you need to have is that you need to be able to see the bigger picture. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that you should try to understand at what points during the day it is best to work and at what points during the day it is best to not work. You see, I have a brother, and maybe I'm being a little vain here, but I would argue that he is maybe not as good at working consistently in a sustainable manner like me. Something which I have noticed is that being productive often usually just feels better than being unproductive, even if the piece of work that you have to work on kind of sucks. Like, look, I hate math, but even when I do have a math test which I have to work for, I always feel better knowing that I have studied early in the day than still having to study on later in the day. And besides, honestly, studying in general is not such a bad thing, especially if you play some music that you like, which you can study to. Like, I prefer to listen to some classical music like Bach, or even some crazy music like Shostakovich, but both of those options usually help me to focus. My next piece of advice is to, if you can, choose the subjects that you like, because if you actually enjoy your classes, studying will be a lot more fun, and heck, you're probably more likely to get a high grade because you have more motivation to study because the material is actually interesting. Luckily, in my school, my Dutch school, we get a lot of different options. We get an option for the people who are more so interested in history and culture, and we also get a different branch of subjects which is more meant for the people interested in science. I am not a super scientific guy, even though I do have some interests which are slightly scientific. However, I am a lot more on the cultural side of things. And first of all, if you really want to get the most out of your school, you should know who you are. Like, do I like this more or do I like this more? And that is something you should definitely know, because if you do know that, you will be much more confident in the sense that you actually know what you like and you like what you know. My last piece of advice is to just not be a tryhard. I have students who make these summaries and they use every single pencil that they can find in their house. It's filled with colors and flowers and honestly shit you just do not need. So if you really want to study, heck, you don't even really have to make a summary for every test that you get. If you can, you only really need to make a summary for the subjects that are probably most difficult or just have a lot of material which you need to go through, because the summary often helps you to comprehend and to put all the material, all the stuff you need to know into one place. But for things like, honestly, mathematics, you don't really need a summary, you just need to practice. Anyway, that was really all I had to say. I'm still new at this YouTube thing, so please be merciful. I will see you sometime. Goodbye.